The world is changing. Incredible innovations are coming out faster than ever before. Every industry, from entertainment to productivity and from design to defense, is going to leverage generative AI. So in this episode, I'm going to highlight a few companies that I think will benefit big time from these new AI innovations, and why I think they could be awesome long-term investments. Your time is valuable, so let's get right into it. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I tend to focus on investing in technology ecosystems. These are the platforms that other businesses pay to build on top of. Think about the Microsoft ecosystem, which includes Azure for cloud infrastructure, Windows as an operating system, accessing the internet through Edge and Bing, and Office 365 for every aspect of knowledge work, and so much more. Or think about Nvidia's massive suite of accelerators for data centers and edge devices, as well as their specialized acceleration libraries and the software that's built on top of them. But there's a problem. Both Microsoft and Nvidia stock are very richly valued, and they're trading near all-time highs. Microsoft has a market cap of about $2.3 trillion, and it's already up about 40% over the last 6 or so months. And Nvidia stock trades at a price-to-earnings ratio of over 170 after almost tripling in price since the end of last year. I do think that both of these companies are still great long-term investments, but this has got me thinking, what other platforms and ecosystems might win big because of this latest wave of AI without being too overpriced today? Let's start with Unity Software, ticker symbol U. Gotta love that name. Unity Software stock is near all-time lows. It's down by over 50% from when they went public in 2020 and down by a whopping 85% from their peak in 2021, even though their revenues have roughly tripled over that same time frame. Unity Software is a platform for developing interactive, real-time 3D experiences once and deploying them everywhere, including mobile, desktop, game consoles, and even augmented and virtual reality. In fact, over 50% of all mobile games are made with Unity, as well as over 70% of all AR and VR experiences. That's a big deal because VR and mobile are the two fastest growing gaming market segments by far, each growing at around 25% per year. That's a crazy fast growth rate for any market. But this isn't just about video games and movies. Unity is also used for simulations, training applications, and other interactive content for a wide range of industries like automotive, architecture, product design, and so on. Unity also has a real-time advertising platform called Unity Ads, which works across mobile phones, tablets, PCs, and even game consoles. They charge anywhere from 5 to 30% of the revenue generated from these ads, depending on the ad's format and the device it's running on. Unity Ads is used by some of the world's largest game developers, including EA, Activision Blizzard, and Ubisoft. And on the flip side, Unity's analytics service provides detailed insights into how games are being downloaded and played, which can be used to optimize a game's performance, identify areas for improvement, and help plan future development and targeted marketing efforts. I'm highlighting all of this for you because Unity Software spent a good chunk of their most recent shareholder letter going through exactly how they expect each piece of their ecosystem to benefit from generative AI. For example, developers will be able to use natural language tools to generate first drafts of content right inside the game engine, including code, animations, physical effects, sound design, and more. Project Barracuda is a platform that moves rendering workloads from smartphones to data centers, which have a lot more processing power and memory. The reason Unity wants to do this is so that apps can support a larger number of users or provide more complex and detailed experiences. Training is where AI models learn to identify patterns from large amounts of labeled data, like how GPT-4 was trained on mountains of human-generated text. Inference is where pre-trained models make predictions on new unlabeled data that they haven't seen before, like when you give chatgpt a new prompt. Project Barracuda will include an inference engine that will help creators do things at crazy scales. For example, populating an entire game world with characters that have full storylines that seem alive and capable of dynamic, responsive dialogue, and rendering all of it on the cloud. They even plan on training models, algorithms, and instructions for generating everything from synthetic data to simulations to full 3D worlds. Unity Software just reported earnings earlier this month, and according to their guidance, they expect their Q2 revenue to increase by around 75% year over year. and their annual revenue for 2023 to grow by about 54%. And I think they could even end up beating those numbers thanks to the massive value they could unlock for content creators with these generative AI tools. And speaking of massive value, MooMoo is a trading app built in Silicon Valley to help advanced investors execute their strategies. There are no commissions, no account minimums, and no hidden fees. And they have a ton of great features to help you find great investments at great prices. For example, you can follow specific institutions like Berkshire Hathaway and ARK Invest to see an up-to-date list of everything they hold. Looks like Cathie Wood bought over $50 million of Unity software stock over the last 60 days. I can even see ARK Invest numbers fund by fund. No wonder MooMoo has almost 20 million advanced investors on their platform. And right now, MooMoo is giving away up to 20 free stocks, each valued at up to $2,000. You just need to use my link in the description below to download the app, keep your account above $1,000 for at least 60 days, and enjoy up to 20 free stocks. But this is a limited time offer, so get started today. Alright, the next company on the list is UiPath, ticker symbol PATH. UiPath is down by a whopping 80% from when they went public back in 2021, even though their annual recurring revenue has grown by almost 50% per year over that same time frame. UiPath is a software company that focuses on RPA, or Robotics Process Automation. UiPath defines RPA as a software technology that makes it easy to build, deploy, and manage software robots that emulate human actions interacting with digital systems and software. So, let's start there. One thing UiPath does is make software bots to emulate work done by humans through automation. So yeah, I would say UiPath is pretty relevant to this whole AI discussion. UiPath software robots are used to manage simple but monotonous workflows like parsing emails to retrieve data and entering that data into other applications, or automating different company-wide processes like hiring and onboarding new employees or invoicing customers. One big concern for any automation company is Microsoft. Microsoft is leveraging their partnership with OpenAI to build ChatGPT-like copilots into their Office products. The risk here is that as Microsoft makes apps like Excel, PowerPoint, Word, and even Bing smarter over time, there's less need for additional software like UiPath, right? Well, not exactly, because as Microsoft's products start rolling out their AI copilots, UiPath's automations should be able to use those copilots as well. So these two technologies are complementary, not competitors. UiPath also has tools to discover new tasks and processes to automate, which means they can add even more value to their customers over time. Forrester is a leading market research firm that specializes in technology, business strategy, and market trends. According to the Forrester Wave, UiPath leads the RPA market in all three categories: strategy, current offering, and market presence. That's because RPA isn't really artificial intelligence. It just uses artificial intelligence to help automate more tasks. For years now, UiPath has leveraged AI capabilities like computer vision and natural language processing to let people create pretty advanced automations. For example, using computer vision to find and push a specific button on a web page, even if the layout of that web page changes, all with almost no code in a data secure and compliant way. That's not something Microsoft's copilots and ChatGPT can easily do, at least not yet. Speaking of which, UiPath recently held their 2023 AI Summit, where they talked at length about implementing generative AI throughout their platform. They have an OpenAI integration called AskGPT, which lets people ask questions and gather insights from documents and then use those outputs as part of their workflow. For example, extracting the parties and contract terms from a long document and automatically putting all that information somewhere else. And they have another feature called Project Wingman, which is basically a natural language copilot, but for UiPath's workflow builder. That will allow people to create automations using natural language instead of having to navigate through all the menus of their interface. This is what I mean when I say that RPA uses artificial intelligence instead of competing with it. UiPath reports earnings in a little over a week, and I'm excited to hear more about how they're going to add generative AI into their products and services. These guys have a huge total addressable market and are definitely worth a spot on your watch list. So far, we've talked about AI for media production with Unity software and AI for commercial knowledge work with UiPath. The third company on this list is bringing generative AI to the toughest industries in the world: government, healthcare, defense, and so on. A lot has changed with Palantir since I covered this stock almost a year ago. Palantir stock just rocketed up by over 60% in the last few weeks after they showed GAAP profitability for the second quarter in a row and operating profits for the first time in history. These are huge milestones. And just like we saw with UiPath, Forrester ranks Palantir as the leader when it comes to AI, with the best mix of strategy, current offerings, and overall market presence. But the real star of the show here is Palantir's Artificial Intelligence Platform, or AIP. I feel like I can add some unique insights here because I spent 8 years working with the Department of Defense and about 6 months of 2022 with personal access to Palantir's Foundry. Palantir's goal is to enable data science across an entire organization, even for people who are not data scientists. The idea is to give everyone from salespeople and human resources to engineers and executives a consistent, real-time view of all of their data. To do that, Palantir helps organizations build digital twins, also called ontologies. At a high level, ontologies are just networks of things and their relationships. Facebook is a network of people and organizations connected by their relationships: spouse, friend, classmate, coworker, and so on. Amazon is a network of warehouses and vendors and products. The US Army can be thought of as an insanely large and complex network of personnel, assets, locations, and objectives. Palantir's goal is helping enterprises make sense of large networks of constantly updating information. Not only that, but Palantir software can have two-way connections to virtually any asset in these networks, which means you can send instructions directly from their platforms like Gotham and Foundry. For example, reroute this truck, task this military asset, all while maintaining high levels of accuracy and compliance across different levels of classifications and permissions. If all of that sounds complicated to you, that's because it is. The trade-off for all of these features is that Palantir's platforms have steep learning curves, which can really slow down adoption, especially in government sectors, where end users tend to be less technical. For example, Department of Defense decision makers deal with uniquely high-pressure, high-stakes situations that require quick action based on accurate and timely information. They tend not to learn new and complicated tools simply because they don't want to be slowed down, don't trust the new tool, or both. This is where large language models really shine, since they're really simple and tend to be really fast. But these LLMs also come with big challenges, since they can hallucinate. Even worse, most LLMs don't provide sources or reasons for their outputs. No trust means no adoption. And that's where Palantir's AIP really changes the game. AIP adds an easy-to-use interface like chatgpt's on top of an enterprise's complex ontology. But unlike other LLMs, AIP can connect highly sensitive and classified intelligence data across multiple networks and tactical edge devices to create a real-time representation of an entire physical environment. Decision makers can choose what the LLM can and can't see and do, and every input and action is securely recorded for future audits and assessments. Like the rest of Palantir software, AIP enforces an individual's permissions, roles, need to know based on the projects or operations they're a part of, and even shows its sources by linking back to the underlying data. AIP can even support multiple models, which means users can use the best model for a given situation, or swap out a model if one doesn't meet a specific standard. It's hard to overstate just how different Palantir's AIP is from something like Google Bard or ChatGPT, and I'm excited to dive into all the differences in future episodes. As large language models start facing legal and regulatory hurdles, Palantir's responsible approach to AI ethics, safety, and security could make AIP one of the only large language models that huge enterprises are actually willing to trust with their data.
I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong.
And that alone makes them worth putting on every AI investor's watch list. Let me know which of these three platforms you think will benefit the most from generative AI in the near term. Is it Unity Software's suite of tools for building 3D experiences? Or UiPath's automation engine for all kinds of knowledge work? Or maybe it's Palantir's powerful but complex operating systems for government and big businesses. But before you make your choice, there's one more huge disruption in the AI space that you need to know about. So make sure to check out this episode next. And if you feel I've earned it, consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. That lets me know to put out more research like this. Either way, thanks for watching, and until next time, this is ticker symbol U. My name is Alex, reminding you that the best investment you can make is in you.